So we're going to look at using the Brisk feature that will create units of learning and lesson plans for us. Now, you can create a unit of learning in two ways. You can create it like I'm going to do it here from a blank sheet. You fill in the data that you want, or you can take a resource, right? Like one of the resources we previously created, either a presentation or a set of notes, and you can create a unit plan based on that, feeding in how many classes you want and other bits and pieces. From those units of learning, you can then create a lesson plan, or you can create a number of lesson plans. From that resource, you could create a lesson plan if it was a short resource. Now, this I'm going to create for an ICT module that I teach the first years. It's an ICT module on using Google Workspace. It is 10 classes, 1 class a week. I've also used this to create units of learning for my mainstream subjects, such as construction studies, graphics with technology, DCG, where you take the learning outcomes or from the specification and you include those like 2, 1, 2, and I just copy and paste them out of the document I have, put them into the prompt in my unit of learning and ask them to be included. And basically it generates up the unit of learning. I look through it, I edit it, and then I go and make my lesson plans. Now, why do I use this? Because it gives me great ideas. To be perfectly honest, I am teaching since the last century, and sometimes it can be difficult to reinvent the wheel, right? To keep kids interested and to keep myself interested. So we take a look at how this works. So I have my blank page, Brisk icon, create, and I want a unit plan, which is equivalent to our unit of learning. So unit plan, British English, 7th grade. No, days. This is the only thing I have an issue with, right? And the reason being is, in the past, when I started experimenting with this, my leaving certs, I have 3 singles and a double. So to me, that's in 4 days. But that's 3 40s and 180. And I just found when I did it as 4 days, the content for the double then that it gave me was a bit weak, short. So I just count them all as single classes and I put them in that way. Now for this, it's grand. It's 10 weeks, 1 class a week, so that's 10 days. So I put in the prompt that I want to use. Now, in this prompt, I'm going to tell it what we're doing. I'm then going to tell it the content that I want, and I'm going to give it a suggested layout for each of the lessons. All right, here's my prompt. I've told it what I wanted to do. Create a unit of learning for an ICT module in Google Workspace. It will be 10 40-minute classes, including using one-to-one Chromebooks. The following topics are to be included in the unit, and I list the topics. And then for each lesson plan, outline the following: the learning intentions for the class, the content for each class, proposed group activities, exit tickets, homework. Now, you can suggest anything you want there that you want in your class, right? So for my ICT, this is kind of the way we do it, and I want to get ideas based on that. So now I just click Brisket and watch the page fill up. So off it goes. Now, in little over a minute, it has given me the outline for 10 classes. And it has given it to me in the format that I wanted. This is the most important stage, that you go through this, you check it, you fact check it, you make sure everything is there that you want, you add anything you need to add, you eliminate anything you don't need, and then you work on your lesson plan. Now, I have found experimenting with this, the best thing to do is to highlight the information it's given you for the lesson and then create a lesson plan from that. What do I mean? So I just highlight I want to go day 1, because I found otherwise it kind of goes off on a tangent and it gives you some of the stuff. Like, so if you've gone to the trouble of proofreading this and changing it, you would like to use it. So create lesson plan. And lesson plan, British English, 7th grade, 40 minutes. I just ask it to create a lesson plan based on the highlighted content, is what I have found works very effectively. So I've told to create a lesson plan using the highlighted content. And what I've also found is you just do it one lesson at a time, if that's the way it works best. So I click Brisk, brings it off into a new page, and it starts creating my lesson. It has given me a fairly comprehensive layout. So I've got my learning objectives, suggested materials. Now, student notebooks and pens, it seems to have forgotten that students have their own Chromebooks, but that's just something I can change. Introduction, main content, online etiquette or netiquette, group activity, conclusion exit tickets, homework, and extension activity. So, like if things go a lot better than planned or you get through stuff quicker, there's some other stuff that you can do with them as well. So I have found it very good for the likes of this, where there is kind of no set platform. And also I find it good for planning TY modules. I do a TY module that incorporates a bit of practical work, and we also then do house design using a lovely online thing called 5D Planner, where the students design houses where money is no object. But I find this great for just actually setting up the unit of learning and giving me suggestions as what to do. So look, it's there for that. It can also be used for mainstream subjects where you can add in the learning outcomes from your subject specification for each of the different units. So look, that's just Brisk's way of doing it. I find it works for me. I find it does it quite quickly.